Minutes into this bitch by now.
Well, we started.
Let's go.
You want to shut the door?
No,
You should.
I will. Oh, we got silly.
Yeah.
That was fun. I love that your perspective on it. I just really enjoyed that. You're like, life is silly. Like life is kind of a joke.
Yeah.
And, you know, there are ways in which that's something I completely relate to. And there are other ways in which I'm like there are things I don't joke about. There are things I don't like that I take more seriously. And I don't know how or why those things surface to me as things that matter.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately it's like, if this thing matters to you, it matters. And that's the end of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like confidentiality, right? Which you brought up before, where your peers, your friends, whoever,
Mm-hmm.
can't adhere to confidentiality, right? Where
Yeah.
they're talking about your business with other people and
Mm-hmm.
or you know, making up business about you and talking about it with other people. That's problematic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's going back to those norms, right? And so what's the norm between us? We believe in confidentiality,
Mm-hmm.
right? Among other things, right? But that's just one of those things that you and I share.
Yeah.
We've had our confidences violated, and it's meant, you know, the end of friendships. It's meant, you know, changing the way that we engage with people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I'm just a very private guy. I don't like people knowing much about me unless I told them, kind of thing.
yep,
So it's like when people like are like, I heard about this, and I was like, about what? And they're like, and they tell me something that I told someone else, and I'm like, okay, well now I can't talk to anyone about that anymore,
right,
or in period talk to said person about stuff because I just don't like people knowing anything about me.
right,
Because why do you want to know stuff about me? You know, that doesn't matter. It doesn't change who I am if you know that or not.
right.
It's just like why do you want to know all the horrible things that happened to me, or why would you want to know anything like that? It doesn't change anything.
Mm-hmm.
People are just so curious about what makes people so flawed that I don't.
So
Yeah.
what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, first of all, the assumption that you're flawed,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or that any of us is flawed.
Mm-hmm.
That's a complete narrative.
Yeah.
Like that's an agreement that
Mm-hmm.
we have with society that
Mm-hmm.
some, you know, healed ideal person
Mm-hmm.
is this way, right? But that's not you. You're broken. Why do we buy into that shit?
I don't know.
Like, where is it written that
Mm-hmm.
you, the way that you've lived your life, the way that you are right now, or the way that I am, is not correct, is not exactly perfect for us, right? And that's the important distinction. Just going back to this, you know, bio-uniqueness concept,
Mm-hmm.
right? What is right for me is right for me. And what is right for me does not need to be right for you to still be right for me and to still be valid in the world. And neither perspective is better than the other or anything like that. The way that you are matters for you. And the way that you are helps us identify, perhaps, as people who can hang out, as people who, you know, share this commonality and can vibe on something.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it has no merit.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I have commonalities and things that I can share, even if it's just like, you know, like I was a theater person when I was here,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're a comm guy.
Yeah.
There's still ways that we're both communicating, right, through the art form.
Yep.
So there's plenty for us to talk about that we don't share in common, right?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't take the same classes. We weren't pursuing the same degree.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't even pursuing a minor in theater. I just really liked doing it. So I happened upon it, right? Here you are actively in practice in your discipline doing the thing. We still got tons to talk about, right? How would you stage this as a video podcast, right? How, you know, what does this look like? How do we want to bring this out to the world? All of these things are things that we can talk about. And my experience in theater allows me to participate in the conversation in a way that's distinct, maybe, from the way that your comm peers might.
Yeah.
You know, but it just makes our conversation, I think, richer. You know, like, I didn't know if you used the word staged. Right? and when you asked back that question, what do you mean staged? I could hear it as oh man, am I even using that word? And like, is that a word that even makes sense in the world of comm as Liam uses it?
Yeah. How do you set up?
Right.
Usually set up.
Set up. Yeah, sure.
Staged is like theater stuff for me.
Yeah. You know, you use the language you have.
Yeah.
Right. When my kids try to describe things to me, it's so beautiful because they're, I get to watch them, you know, explore their the vocabulary they have to work around to this idea and make it clear to me. Right. It doesn't always land, but it doesn't mean that the effort is wasted. Right. I think they see the value of vocabulary when they try to paint their world for someone else, and how, wow, if I had the word to say that, right? And this is where sometimes I've been considered, I don't know, like off-putting or elitist when someone will say something, sort of express an idea, and here I am practicing active listening, right? And have the vocabulary I have, and I'll say, I'll use the word, right? That describes the process that they described.
Yeah.
Like, this is the word for that. Circumlocution, right? Like, and they're like, you don't have to correct me. I'm like, whoa, I'm not correcting you. I'm here listening, and I'm letting you know that I heard you so much so that I have a word for that. And here it is.
Yeah, I was at a party, and this person was like having a panic attack about something. And I was talking to her to try to calm her down. It was like my buddy's girlfriend. I was just trying to help her calm down. And it was like her and then her ex-friend now. They're not friends anymore. But
love these stories.
Yeah. Her ex-friend was there. This was like last week or something, or like 2 weeks ago or so.
Okay.
And what was I going to say? She was panicking,
right,
and everything, and they were trying to put like these shot glasses away and stuff, and because just they're panicking about stuff, and I was like, "There's nothing to worry about." And then they're just trying to put these shot glasses back in the cabinet, and then this girl, that her friend, starts putting them in a cup, and I heard like glass clink, and I was like, "Don't do that. You're gonna break it." And it wasn't like oh, you idiot. It was just like, whoa, don't do that. You're going to break it. Because I heard something clank in there. And she was like, watch your tone. And I was like, I ignored her because I don't care enough to listen to that. I'm still worried about the person panicking.
Sure.
I'll deal with that, someone that has a problem with me later.
Yep.
It's this person that's panicking right now that I'm more concerned about.
Right. She's the priority.
Yeah. And it just made no sense because she tried to like almost interject herself in the conversation and make it about me having an attitude thing. And I literally was like ignoring her.
Right.
Like she wasn't even there, which then she just like kind of burnt out and walked away. She was just like kind of almost like yelling at me in my ear. And I just was like, yeah, so it's fine. And she's just screaming, like yelling in my ear. And I was just like, yeah, like you're gonna be fine. Don't worry. As this person's yelling next to me, and this person just walks away, and I'm still talking, and my friends and girlfriend's like, what? Like, you just didn't even. I was like, why would I react? Like, this person doesn't matter to me at all. They don't. Like, why do I care? They can yell at me all fucking day, you know? Like I've had people. I had a guy that was like, I worked at a farm, like, and I'm sitting back now because I'm so.
Good. He's so laid back.
Yeah, I'm so tired. I'm sitting like this now.
All right, nice. Oh,
They
here we
can't
go.
hear it or see it, but I'm like really laid back.
They can hear it.
They can really hear my
yeah.
voice.
It's audible.
But I was working at this farm,
Yeah.
and I had this guy that was like 380 pounds, and it was during COVID, and this guy was like 6'5".
Yeah.
This guy was a giant to me. Like I thought I was fighting Goliath.
Oh, you're fighting him?
No, but
Okay.
almost did. It was COVID, so you had to keep your mask on and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he was like, and he couldn't. He bought cookies from our farm, and he was taking his mask off, and we had to know you can't do that, and he had to like eat out off the property, like 2 feet off the property, kind of thing, or like something like that.
Yeah.
And he was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I can't eat my cookies I just bought." And I'm like, "Dude, that's not the problem. The problem is it's not you. It's me." Okay, no, it's like they told me you can't eat here. You know that,
Right.
so just go off and eat it over there.
Yeah.
It's just simple.
Right.
And he just got really mad and yelled in my face. So it's like I don't really care when people yell at me.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't bother me at all. Like I've had people yell at me that are way bigger and way worse that could have bent me like a pretzel for all I care.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Right. So where is it? Where again is it written
Yeah.
that just because someone wants to yell at you, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm actively yelling at you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to yell back,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I know this is a level of engagement you want. I can tell because you're yelling,
Mm-hmm.
right? You want it at some level. So
Yeah.
this is the energy you're bringing.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. I'm not playing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I've got this other thing going on, right? We're not enemies here. I'm just letting you know this is the expectation
Mm-hmm.
that we don't eat the cookies on the farm,
Yeah.
right? If you want to get upset about that, I mean, I guess that's your choice.
I said, "Do you want
I'm not
me
here
to
to fight you,
Do you want to get my boss over here that owns the farm?"
right?
And he was like, "Yeah." And then my boss came over and said the same exact thing, and he was like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah, right.
And it was just like,
Right.
like he just wanted to fight me for no reason. But as soon as my boss comes over, he's like, "Got it. No worries." Didn't apologize to me. Just walked away. And I was like, "All right, man." I was like, "You're cool." You know that? It's like, "You cool, man." But nah, it's so stupid. And then the girl that got mad at me about the shot glasses stuff,
Yes.
that was yelling at me, she apparently, this girl, she had an infatuation with me.
I know you can't see this, but he sat up a little bit.
Yeah. She has an infatuation with me or something like that. At one point, like 2 weeks before this, I never met her before, but like my two friends, my roommate's girlfriend, our friend, and this girl they brought along came up to our dorm.
Okay.
And there's like people that know me know, like, if we're doing a function, like hangout, and I get up without saying anything and just walk to my room and don't come out, that means I'm done.
Yeah, right.
And I do the Irish goodbye. It's like, it's nothing personal. I'm not gonna be like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna go in my room now and hang out by myself."
Right.
Is that okay? It's like,
Yeah, you're not making a scene.
no,
You're just,
I just stand up and walk to my room as people are talking. It's not even like not like a moment of silence where it's like this whole like a hush falls over. It's just like people are talking, laughing. I get up and just walk to my room.
Sure.
I go to my room, just sit down on my bed. I'm playing guitar. It's the first time I played guitar in like weeks or months.
Sure.
And I was just like, you know what, man? I was like so tired of people. I just want to play guitar.
Yeah.
Play guitar. And then I hear like a knock on my door. And I'm like, "Come in." And they come in and it's the girl. And I'm like, "What is going on?"
Mm-hmm.
She comes in and she's like, "Can I sit in here with you? Can I sit in your chair?" And I'm like, "Sure." And people in my room, and I saw my roommate behind her like to give a face like, "Oh God." Because he knows that like when I'm in my room, it's like I'm not gonna. That's like the most blunt I'm ever gonna be about stuff.
Right.
And like very like not like the mask has fallen off, my mask of like trying to like be nice to everyone.
Yeah. did the social thing, and it's done now.
Yeah, it's packed up and moved out. It's not even in the room, not even in the building anymore.
Sure.
It's in Timbuktu.
Yeah, but you're still cordial enough.
I'm very cordial.
She came to the room.
She did.
Can I sit with you?
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, of course.
You are allowed to sit.
And I'm like, I'm gonna play guitar. Is that fine? She's like, yeah.
Good.
Great. I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You said these things.
Yeah. I said, I don't. It's like, I'm just not in the mood to talk. I just want to play guitar. And she's like, all right. And then I'm playing guitar. And she's like, how long have you played guitar for? And I'm like, like a few years or so. Like, I'm off and on. Like, I'm not as consistent as my mom is. She's like, okay. I was like, okay. Just keep playing. And she's like, so tell me about yourself. And I'm sitting here like,
this is true.
Yeah, I'm 6'1", blue eyes, brown hair. My name's Liam.
Oh yeah, here's the lowdown, right?
That's me.
Here's my Bumble profile. Thanks.
Yeah. I was like, you want to see what I am like? Here's my Tinder profile. 6 foot dad bod, likes bacon, egg, and cheeses. That was my Tinder bio at one point.
Well, it's that picture with you shirtless with steam coming off and you're just wearing a towel. That's the one.
Yeah, you got it.
Not your vibe.
Not my vibe.
No.
So I don't like talking about that's like the last question you asked me, because I don't like, people are like, I don't like talking about myself.
Yeah.
I like talking about other people.
Right.
I'm so curious about other people. But people that want to know about me, I'm just kind of like, what do you want? What are you trying to gain from this? Like, what do you really need from me right now? So then I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm a comm major and I like playing guitar. That's like what I said. and I go back to strumming.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope you kind of set the expectations in there, and again, you're being really cordial and just saying, come in, and even fielding these questions,
and then she keeps going, and then she's like, so like, what's your opinion about like this and that? I'm like, what do you want? Like, what, like, how many? What's your siblings? Like, what's your family? And I really hate when people ask about my family. That's it's like my like, don't go there kind of thing. And I'm like, and I just was like, I literally put the guitar down on the bed.
I can see this.
And I'm like, I looked at her, I was like, I have a bad relationship with my parents. My brother hates me, and my sister and me have a strained relationship. What's your family like? And she was like, oh God, what's going on? And I'm like, yeah, like me and my dad and my mom, we've had issues over the years, and like, we've been trying to fix it more as I've gotten older. Me and my brother, we don't talk at all. Right. We don't even speak words to each other. We barely even look at each other. And me and my sister, we talk occasionally. She's trying to rebuild a relationship with me more lately in life and everything. But I don't really like people, and I think people are pushy and get into other people's business when they don't want to be in their business. And I just, I'm not a big fan of people. And she was like, okay. And I think she got. So she's chipping at the ice. She falls through. Yeah. You're like, you want to? You want to know about? Yeah, you're in. That's the worst question to ask me. Like, what's your family life like? I'm like, because I'm very passionate. I love my family. I'll do anything for my family. Yeah. But I was just not in a social mood that night. Sure. And like, I just was tapped. So when she comes in my room and starts asking me about my family, then it's over. Then and my roommates know, like, don't talk about Liam's family, because even if my family has done anything wrong to me, I will defend them to the day I die. Because it's just like, you know what, man, that's my family. If I don't even care, I don't even talk to my brother. I barely talk to my brother, But if he did something wrong and someone said something rude to him, I'd rip them to shreds, from limb to limb. Right. Don't even care. Yeah. Don't even care.
Well, but what's so like? What's hilarious to me about this? All right, because I've absolutely been there, and I'm I see myself as super extroverted, right? Like I do get a charge out of talking to people, but you've got to pick up the vibe, right? Like read the room. This is you, and you didn't even. You were just very gracious, right? Like, yeah, come in. I'm here to. You don't feel like talking. I want to play my guitar, and for her to not pick that up, it's just. Like what are you hoping to achieve? Like you are not more interesting than what I'm doing right now. And like this is what I need. This is my self-care. And for someone to infringe on that so blatantly and repeatedly,
it's great.
And she wanted you.
Yeah.
She wanted you. She wanted your attention.
She had it. She had it. She had my attention. Not the way she thought, but she had.
Did she stick around after that? Was she like?
Yeah, she stayed.
Gotcha. Let's talk. All right, now we're talking. Okay, so I was.
And no, I said all that, and then she just was like, "Oh yeah, that's yeah," and then she starts going into like her stuff, and I'm just like. I'm like, I really, that's like the.
I fell in. I know how to swim.
Yeah.
I'm warming up.
Yeah. Good luck. The Titanic has sunk, and you're in negative 50-degree water. Good luck swimming. It's pitch black.
Oh boy.
Like she's trying to swim in this sea, and then she starts talking about like other things. I'm like, yeah, people are scumbags. I don't trust people. And I just was like, I was tired and not in, like, my medication ran out that night.
Okay.
And I just was like, when my medication starts, like, running its course during the day, like, that means, like, I'm never rude to people. I never try to be rude. But it's just, like, it's like, if you want to talk to me when I'm like this, it's not going to be rude. It's just going to be very honest.
Right.
Very bluntly honest.
Super blunt.
Yeah. It's not. It's for some people that's rude, but for me that's like, you want honesty. I'll give you unfiltered honesty. And she was telling me all her shit about like her stuff, and I was like, yeah, people just suck and people are scummy. They don't care about how other people feel, and like, I just think it just was the amount of innuendos I gave.
Yeah. Straight up like breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
People are scummy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not talking about you, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's everyone else. People are pushy.
Yeah.
Don't really listen to other people.
Yeah.
But not you.
Not you.
You're great. Bring it. Thank you for entering my sanctum of solitude, right? And
I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah. I did sort of paint out the rules or the expectations of your being here, but you know what?
I'm glad you're here.
Screw that. Yeah. Glad you're here. Really looking forward to this chat. No, I'm not.
Yeah. Like, this is the best. I'm so happy you're here.
Yep. Thank you for accepting my invitation. Oh, you didn't invite me. You're right.
You're right.
Oh.
Yeah.
That might mean something.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's break this down real quick.
What I want matters more than what you want.
Yeah.
And in some cases, like asserting yourself makes sense. I don't need to assert myself into someone else's room. I don't need to assert myself into someone else's, personal.
Because that's my only. Because people, my friends.
Yep.
They tend to. They tend to like ask me to do a lot of stuff, and
they invite you to like go hang or
no, like they want me to like do stuff for them. You know, what I mean? Like take them out to get haircuts or take them to.
Nice. You're the guy with the car.
Walmart. I'm the guy with the car.
Yeah,
and it's just like people. I feel like it's like an unwritten rule in the dorm that like if Liam's in his room, because I'm always out in the common room or something like that. I'm always talking to someone. But if I'm not talking to someone, and if I don't engage with you, and I'm not out off my room, that means Liam needs his time to like stew in his room, let the emotions kind of flurry.
Sure.
and just be and reset. It's just my reset spot.
Right.
It's my only spot in the entire campus where I can go and just reset and be able
Right.
to like go back and see people.
Right.
Because I know too many people where if I went outside and went for a walk, they'd be like, hey. I'd be like, yeah, great. I love you too.
Right.
Like, I'm so happy you're here.
But you're out in community.
Yeah.
Right. And so in that, right, there's some degree of I'm okay interacting with people. Right. But when you're in your sanctum, nah.
Yeah.
And your friends know this. And it sounds like your boy who was behind her and rolls his eyes. He was like, dude, we told her. And
yeah, people mention it to her that like he's going in his room.
yeah.
And it's like people don't want to be rude. Don't want to go to the people that are over and be like, yeah, don't go in Liam's room. He's like a little upset right now and like whatever. Because just you don't want to do that because it just makes people uncomfortable. But it's just like they're just like, yeah, he's just trying to like rest up in his room, you know.
Yeah.
But she didn't get the hint.
No, she didn't.
But she was. And one thing that was really bothering me about the whole thing too was she was trying to make this like a movie kind of thing where I could tell, you know, like in the movies where where it's the girl and they sit in the chair and they flip back her hair and they're like, oh yeah, just tell me all about your problems. That's what she was doing, like the movie scene. Like, and I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, this is not a fantasy world.
Right. Where are the cameras?
Yeah. Like it bothered me because she just the hair flip and her being like, yeah, and like doing the whole like, I was like, this is just so awkward now.
What? So what if you said, I don't know. I mean, you're talking about blunt honesty. What if you just said, listen, I don't want to talk, just like I told you when you came in, and I do want to play my guitar, just like I told you when you came in. So if you can sit there and just chill,
The thing
it's
is,
great.
I just don't want to be rude.
Yeah, but is that rude?
Some people take it as rude.
Yeah, but you have said, I'm not nice, right? And the ways in which you've been not nice but kind to other people in your life, like establishing firm boundaries, but is necessary. But you also need to enforce those boundaries.
Yeah,
I'm learning so much about this in my own work in therapy, because I can say all that I want when I'm in my room. I need to be left alone. But if I don't stand up for that when it's infringed, right? When someone's trying to cross that boundary, then is this really a boundary for me? You know what I mean? So I think there are levels of honesty in what you were offering, right?
Yeah.
Which was this surface level honesty, but you weren't enforcing. You were trying to subtly, right, remind her or teach her, whatever, that this wasn't where she wasn't. This level of engagement wasn't what you were looking for, right? But she needed something else in order to get it, in order to hear it, and you know, and so I think you've done the work with your roommates so that they understand. But if you're not able in the moment to reinforce that, she's got the wrong idea. She's gotten the wrong idea.
Yeah.
That she can come in and change what you said you want to do in that space. We need to stand up for ourselves.
Yeah.
And not worry about what other people think.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Other people are going to think what they're going to think. Like you've said this a million times. You can't control that, right?
Yeah.
You know, whether it's an ex-girlfriend, ex-friend, current friend, right? How they feel about what you do, right? But when I'm direct and honest about this is what I want, this is what I need, and I enforce that allows my friends to meet me where I want to meet them, right? And so it strengthens our friendship.
Yeah.
You mentioned last night that you were tired and you just wanted to. I wasn't continually pinging you like,
no.
Hey, what's going on? Are you okay? All right, you all right? I mean, Liam, I know, like you've got radio silent.
I would hate that.
Yeah, right. But I understand that about our relationship.
Yeah.
It was, Liam said he's coming over. Hey, Liam, what's the deal? When you're going to be here? I'm not coming over tonight. Cool. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. And even if you had wanted me to press or something like that, there would have been some indication of that, right? Subtle as it might have been. No, dude, I'm just feeling a little bit pensive right now. Could use a friend. Oh, hold on, right? And then I dial you up and say, I don't know if I'm the friend you want, but I'm here.
Yeah.
Something like that, right? But being tuned into the cues that other people are giving us.
Yeah, there's a lack of just awareness on her end completely.
Yeah.
Which I just felt.
But you've got to roll in that. This is what I'm saying, right? Sure, right? Her social intelligence could increase, right? And as a white guy, I'm literally socialized to step forward for what I want, and unless the no is loud enough, I keep going forward. Really, after it's what I'm socialized to do. This world was built for me, and I'm meant to move forward. This is how I'm taught. And so it's challenging when we hear, "What do you mean other people don't have the same advantages, perspective, feel as safe?" Right? And which has been a real awakening for me. I wanted to just through my time here, super into the equality piece. Right? I was like, oh yeah, men and women equal, people of all skin colors equal. Right? It was just an easy narrative to lean into. Shit like I don't see color, I'm colorblind. I'm not sure that I ever said those words, but it's absolutely a paradigm that I held on to, and it erases the reality for other people. Growing up as a woman is different, right? You are socialized different. You are taught differently.
Yeah.
You are treated differently. You are set with a different set of expectations. The world is not systematically oriented for your advantage, right? Same thing with skin colors, et cetera, and so on. And I didn't get it. I didn't get it. Or at least maybe I got that this was a man's world, whatever, and it's a white-dominated world. But I didn't know how far ahead I was. Like, no sense of that until I started working really deeply with Rashawn in creating cultural humility. And over the years, I got it subtly with the people who were in my life, right? Especially with my most recent wife, Bethany, right? She really sort of painted this picture of there are probably times, and Sarah Silverman really says this well, right? It's Sarah Silverman, so she says it in just this inimitable way. But she's like, a man's greatest fear, a woman's greatest fear, a man's greatest fear is that a woman will laugh at him. And a woman's greatest fear is that a man will kill her. Right? And it's just this stark perspective on what's been okay for men and in the treatment of women, right? Things like in rape cases, she dressed that way, or the way that divorce even is played out and legislated, like adjudicated rather. It's just it favors the men, in so many ways, and I had no perspective on that, no vantage point on that, until I really started to look. Yeah. Until I started to examine, until I started to hear, wow, you don't feel safe doing this and this and this. These things that I literally take for granted. Whether it's fighting a traffic ticket or going outside in the dark. It's just a different world for other people.
I mean, I've always realized that, for girls especially, I would say.
How did you waken up? How did you awaken to that idea?
Just I grew up with all girls.
Yeah.
Like, it was my sister and I had all female cousins.
Right.
I didn't have a guy cousin until like 7 years ago, or like 6 years ago.
Okay.
So like I just grew up with all girls.
Yeah.
So it was just like always I think also just like how my dad raised me was to be very protective of everybody, no matter what.
Okay.
And it didn't really matter about like race or like gender or whatever kind of thing, So.
I agree with that. I think looking out for other people, I was absolutely raised to do that, right? The golden rule was foundational in how I show up in the world, thanks to my grandmother. But I had no idea the way in which I needed to show up for other people, right? And when I think about from my college girlfriend Tammy to Sarah to Bethany and the relationships I've had all throughout those, I've tried to protect by stepping in for and defending from challenges and realities that they didn't need to be defended from.
I think for me, how do I explain this? It's not so much that I think that when people come to me about a concern, they're like, I can't do these things because of this, right? And they tell me about that. I'm like, okay, we won't do that. It's not so much of a thing of, it's like, okay, I could be mindful for that for every other person that's like that person now, because it's just like you as a person are worried about that. That's what I'm concerned about, how you feel about this. I don't really care how other people feel about the same thing. If some other people agree with that, then that's fine. They can tell me, but I'm not going to assume that every person feels the same way, So I'm more concerned about how the individual feels than the masses feel about a certain subject, because one person, if we just group everyone as a group of mass of, so this particular group of people hate this one thing.
Right. That's a prejudice. You're saying this group is like this.
And they hate this one thing. They're all agreeants of that. And then you meet someone that's in that mass and they're like, I don't agree with that. But okay, wait, you should be fearful of that.
Oh my God.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
You should be fearful because do you not know like 50 other people that are like you are fearful of that? For me, it's just like, I find it ridiculous in my opinion that if you're a particular person, everyone should be fearful of that. It's like, if you're fearful of that, that makes sense. And I respect that. But I'm not going to sit here and say that every single person that's like you is afraid, because that's, it's just not, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
No,
but
it does make sense. I think we as humans have, we like to find patterns, right? We like to identify truisms where we can. And it is very often reductive. I went with my friend Yvette to a karaoke night. So Yvette and I are like, and she's dark skinned, and we're walking into the place, and it's all this, Make America Great Again and stuff, and I'm like, oh man, this might not be a great environment for her. And we come in, we're singing songs, and I'm like, hey, how are you doing? She's like, what do you mean? I'm doing great. I go, yeah, but I mean, are you really doing great? Like, if you wanted to leave. And she's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I go, well, I don't know. Just look at the, like, you don't feel uncomfortable here? I'm making all kinds of assumptions for her and on her. And she's like, let me tell you something. There was this dude in my school or wherever, my circle of friends, and he was known for his bigoted comments, this, that, and the other thing. And then one time we met, right? And our friends just kind of stood around and we're like, oh, what's going to happen right here? And we talked like not very long at all. And he's like, wow, you're all right. I don't know about the other people like you, but you're great. And she's like,
that's ridiculous.
But the way she tells the story, she's just like, until people know you, they don't know you.
Yeah.
And so anything they say or do is just based out of ignorance. If it's directed in this way, if it's based in prejudice. So, give them the opportunity to learn something different.
Me personally, I avoid like the whole like, this person's gonna be offended by that. I'm just gonna say it. And if they're offended by whatever I say, then they could tell me, kind of thing. And I respect that. And I'm like, got it. You don't like that, cool.
Yeah.
But if you're like get upset because I said something like a joke or something like that, and you were like, I hate you, because I'm like, dude, then I get it. Then if you don't want to hang out with me, that's fine.
Sure.
And I'm not talking about like the N-word or anything like that. I don't say that, but
no.
Yeah. But I'm saying like if I make a joke about certain thing, because I'm like, I did DNA tests and I'm like Jewish, whatever, like
Sure.
ethnically a Jew,
Yep.
whatever. And
Like some majority portion?
yeah, like I did, like I just found out. I just like I joke
Yeah.
about it all the time. I'm like, and I'm like, I found out I'm a Jew.
Yeah.
And this guy came up that's also a Jew.
Yeah.
And I started making jokes about like Jewish Jewish people and me being a Jew and stuff.
Right.
And people are looking at me like in horror, but the guy's laughing his ass off, like crying, laughing. It's like I'm not gonna stop being who I am, because I'm like German as well. So I was like,
Sure.
I'm conflicted because I'm a Jew and a German. I don't know, like I hate myself sometimes, but I like I like do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And and just the guy was like crying, laughing, and I'm just like, dude, it's like, and my friends are like in horror. I'm like, I'm not gonna stop being me because this guy's up here. This guy was friends with me first before he knew any of you people, right. And people and afterwards when they found out that he was okay with it, they all started laughing. But I was just like, it's so stupid, because if someone said the same thing, I'm gonna laugh.
Right.
And if someone's offended by that, I'm gonna be like, listen, I'm gonna laugh. It's a joke. It's meant to be not taken seriously. It's not like he's actually going out there being like, I hate blah blah blah. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. So
no, I get it. I was at I took this trip to Israel.
Yeah.
In my in the April before I graduated from business school, and we were playing. We're staying in a kibbutz, and we were playing Cards Against Humanity. Exactly. We were playing Cards Against Humanity with our tour guide, right? Israeli, Jewish. And this buddy of mine was like looking through the cards that he was handing to our tour guide to take out the anti-Semitic jokes. And I'm like, half the box is anti-Semitic jokes, right? And to my knowledge, all the anti-Semitic jokes that I've heard were from Jewish people.
Yeah.
Right? Just laughing at the, trying to make light of, trying to process the horror of the Holocaust and the aftermath, right? And subsequent anti-Semitic actions. So anti-Semitic jokes you can't hide from the anti-Semitic jokes. I mean, there are anti-everything jokes. Like they punch everywhere in that box, and I like that.
But I just find it so weird that people are like, the Irish one's okay, but not the Jewish one.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Come on, guys. It makes no sense, because if we want to like put that restraint on the Jewish one, then we have to put it on the Irish one too, because Irish people were suppressed for 300 years in America, and you were not allowed in certain rooms, because if you looked Irish, then you're not allowed to do that. But it's just like they made the Irish people go into the frontier and get murdered by Native Americans and stuff like that, because they want to test the waters and see how dangerous it was.
Sure. And
stuff. It's just like, if you're gonna like say like, hey, you can't say that, then it's like, then what's the limit of what's the joke limit? Because I'm Irish, I'm a Jew, I'm Native American, I'm like 1,000 things. I did a DNA test. I'm 1,000 things.
Right.
I'm the biggest mutt there is of everything.
We all are.
Yeah. And
really?
people, it's just like, people are like, well, because you don't look like it. Like, you don't look Irish enough to be Irish. I'm like, dude, I was born with red hair. I was literally a ginger. You not know that? I was literally born with red hair. Just because you didn't live with me for 22 years of my life doesn't, like, you don't understand. St. Patrick's Day is big. We make soda bread every year for everyone. Like, it's a big thing for my family. I'm Irish. My name's Liam. It's as Irish as it gets. Yeah. And people are like, well, you never know because your last name's Saranich. I'm like, yeah, that's Croatian. You know where that is? No. Is it in Asia? I was like, you're an idiot. Like, don't even comment about anything about that stuff. You don't know anything about it. Right. It's like, because people are like, I'm like, yeah, I'm like Croatian. They're like, what? They're like, that's in Asia? I was like, just because it says Croatian at the end doesn't mean it's in Asia. Jackass. That Croatian. It's right next to Italy. And people are like, what?
Yeah.
I'm blown. I gotta go to Croatia. I was like, you've seen the flag a ton of times. It's a really popular looking flag. Trust me. You when I show people, they're like, oh my God, there's no way. I've seen that flag so many times. And I'm like, yeah, you probably have. Apparently, last name Cernic is as popular in Croatia as Smith is in America.
Oh, fantastic.
So,
yeah.
But I just find it ridiculous because I don't like to like my life in restraint, you know, and fear of like, is this just like, if you don't like what I said or you don't like the jokes I make, or then you just don't like me because that's just who I am.
Sure.
Then I respect you as a person enough not to talk to me anymore. But don't get upset or anything like that because you come in my room and I'm bluntly honest or anything like that, or because I make honest comments about stuff like that. Because apparently that night she went back to her room and like it was laid on the floor of my roommate's girlfriend's floor and complained about me for like 30 minutes, saying that I was like this and that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, cool, because she was trying to like hook up with me, and I was not. I was like, I'm not.
Right.
I'm not into you. No offense. I just don't know I don't know you enough to sleep with you, or I don't know who you are.
Right.
I only know your first name, and that's it.
Yep.
So I'm not a hookup guy at all. So I'm just like, nah, get out of my room.
No matter what your Bumble profile says.
But yeah, so I don't know. I just find it ridiculous.
Running joke. Yeah.
I just find it personally ridiculous when people don't know anything about the world because and they make comments about stuff. It's like you just want to do because that's how you feel in the moment, and you hear 10 other people saying the same thing. Why don't you do the research about it?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you look up about, because I know history so well. I've done so much research about history, and I'm just like, you don't know anything about why these things happened and why the cases of these things happen. You just assume about it all. So
right. There's the TikTok education, right? It's, this is why we don't say the N word, or like not enough detail to understand the origins of the word, right? What the forced migrants endured, anything like that. It's you just have this very limited education, and you're leaning into it, right? That's really it's unfortunate, but I think we're less inclined, right? With so many distractions, we're not putting the priority on deep education, right? It's like this veneer of oil over a surface of water is the depth of our understanding, right? We might have super broad understanding, like little factoids about a broad swath of the information in the world, but with no depth to speak of, right?
Yeah.
And I, for me, I've found tremendous value in my depth of knowledge of Spanish, in my depth of knowledge of theater and theatrical history, being able to apply it then to other areas and different aspects of life that I'm continually becoming aware of. It's like being able to understand something deeply helps me understand and be curious about something at a deep level, something else at a deep level, right? But we're not we're not socialized, we're not educated, we're not trained to teach ourselves, which is a problem. And so that individual pursuit of knowledge is never deep enough. It's never fulfilling. It's just this
surface level bullshit.
Surface level, like Cheez-Its and Doritos version of learning, which doesn't nourish us. And so we just eat more and more Cheez-Its and Doritos and chase it down with some Hawaiian punch. And then, and we have an incomplete understanding of whatever topic, completely unfulfilling. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I would like to promote deep learning in every way that I can.
Yeah.
And you don't have to become a doctorate in, I don't know, in communication
right? In social media and whatever, but enough practical knowledge to have an informed opinion about it, right? To have done it, really. And this is the piece of your education that I truly admire, right? That we're here in a studio recording because you feel comfortable doing this. It's not the academic, it's not the book learning that you've done. It's not your academic exposure, but your practical exposure. You're being in here, having done this, having done a podcast of your own for 4 years. How long?
2
years, right? But not inconsistently, pretty much a weekly podcast, right? Over 2 years, that's, approaching 600 episodes, right? No. Well, 70. Maybe it has been. Is it monthly?
It's twice a week.
Twice a week.
Yeah, but with like months breaks in between.
That's fine. But you've been at it, is what I'm saying, right?
Well, yeah,
you're more than just a casual
you'd probably get like
podcast creator.
8 episodes a month.
8 episodes a month.
That would be like you get 8 episodes a month.
Okay.
So let's say like I did for 3 months.
Yeah.
I'd get 24. You know what I'm saying?
Did that math in your head?
Yeah.
Proud of you.
Fuck you.
No, times tables are important. Really?
I hate you. Screw you.
Sorry. Are we having our first on-air fight? It's a special moment.
How do you stage a show? Stage these nuts.
Real nice. Real nice. My point is that you've been at it.
Yeah.
Right? You're not just someone who theoretically understands how to put together a podcast, right? You've sat, done the recording, right? Spoken for the 2 hours that it takes each of these episodes, right? Is my understanding that's the length you guys run about.
2 hours.
And then you've gone back and edited and, and published the rest.
Yeah.
Would you say published? Is that the word?
Published.
Okay, cool. So there's something to that, right? You've got a portfolio of work. And now it might have been you goofing around, but you can look at the functional output and say, this is tight. Now it's a tight 90 instead of this 2-hour ramble.
And my show has had, like, in my opinion, over the 2 years, has had 2 versions of the show now. One now where it was me, Kiskin, and Bree.
Yeah.
And now we've hit a new era where it's just me and Kiskin.
Right.
With we have guests every time, but
Sure.
But like Bree was such a big person in the show, which I think also has made it where I haven't edited a lot of it because I'm also just very nervous to post the last episode of her on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I even posted her last thing, and it was recorded a year ago. So
What's that about? What's going on?
Bree? She heard? Oh, she just graduated.
No, I know, but why do you not want to post it?
It just feels like it's the end of that era of just that part of the show, It's as soon as it's gone, And it's just like, but there's 67 episodes of her in it.
Right.
Or at least like 50 something,
Sure.
Because she wasn't always in every episode, but it just feels like an end of something, Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like why I don't finish shows too, because I feel like if I finish the show, then that's over. It's over for me, and I just don't like the thing of it being over. Just don't like the good things to end. So, yeah, that makes sense or not, but yeah,
I don't think it doesn't make sense, right? I mean, I can see it in another light too, but like one door closes, another door opens, kind of.
Yeah,
thing.
but she graduated, and I'd love to have her back on every once in a while.
Wouldn't that be sweet? What's she doing?
She's figuring it out still.
Sure.
She and me both agreed that college degrees didn't help us out with what we wanted to do. It's not going to help us out. And I feel bad for her because she went for 4 years.
Yeah.
And now she's like graduated and she's just like, I don't even have a job.
Right.
It's been a year. So
yeah,
it's kind of sad. I feel bad for her for sure.
I mean, maybe that's everybody's journey though, is figuring it out. I mean, she could, like so many people do, step into this step into a job where it's, it just doesn't agree with them on an individual level, but they're doing it because they think they should, right? There's some agreement that exists in the world where this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I was socialized to do. I did 4 years of college. Now I'm supposed to work a 9 to 5, and pretty soon, once I'm 25, that's when I'm supposed to find a partner and start having family. Like whatever the narrative she believes is a narrative that a lot of people believe, right? But it doesn't. She can question that, right? And this time is probably pretty critical for her to really test and say, this is what I want to do. Like, I think you've benefited from having her in your life to see that and share that paradigm. Like, I don't know what I'm really getting out of the money I'm paying here, right? I'm getting some experience, and I get to work with you, Bree, a year ago, but that's not really the thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like the return on investment is going to be there at the end of things. There's no promise of a career after this. There's no promise of a, even $70,000, exit on college, right? So what's it all about? Like, what do I really want to do with this? And you've had time now this past year to really sort of crystallize a vision of what you want to do, right? And not that any of it's etched in stone, but you've got some concepts,
Yeah.
right? Around the entertainment agency, was that, or hub? I don't want to mischaracterize it. Yeah.
I want to put it like a hub
Yeah.
of like content and stuff on YouTube. Yeah. So
That's mint.
yeah.
But she didn't maybe have that crystallized an idea.
Well,
right?
she enjoyed it a lot. So if
Okay.
it was successful, I'd like to see if she would like to come back potentially and do that as a job as well. Of course, I haven't approached her about it or anything.
That's
but,
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 'cause I know she loved it. She liked doing the stuff, like the talks and stuff.
Yeah.
She thought it was hilarious. But because me and Kiskin are just something else sometimes.
Well, we should. I'm very open to having other people on the cast here.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to some of my friends. T. Nix, who I've mentioned, is interested. He was like, no, I don't really have anything to say. And I challenged that, and he's like, damn, you're right. So I'd love to get him on.
Yeah.
But it just will crystallize our schedules a little bit more, and it'll be fun. Right? I think we could have a really good time with that. Get some other perspectives in here. Talk about some different challenges, right? I'd like to just express and explain about resilience and how organizations can do that,
Sure.
right? And it starts with listening. It literally starts with listening. If a CEO or an HR director is out there and like, wow, we've got all these challenges. We're having trouble retaining folks. We're having trouble engaging with our audience, right? We're like reaching out to clients and having them, engage with us in a meaningful way. We're just not experiencing the growth we want, right? We're having challenges with hiring. We've got these, we've got these partners who, we have problematic relationships with. All of these pieces come back to and can be traced back to the interpersonal dynamics, right? We think we make decisions with logic, but the fact is we think we make decisions with our hearts. We make decisions from our emotions. And if we're not feeling it emotionally, we won't do it. But then whenever we make a decision, we justify what we've decided to do with our minds, interestingly. So the first step of any improvement, whether you're talking about a family, whether you're talking about a classroom dynamic, whether you're talking about an organization, is to listen. Listen as fully as you can to all of the stakeholders. So you look at Porter's 5 forces, right? Who are your clients, of course, who are your internal staff, but also who are your competitors? Who are the substitutes, right? People who provide not the same thing that you do, but something parallel enough that it replaces or could replace functionally what you do, right? The common substitute, right, paradigm for steak, for instance, is chicken. It's not beef, right? But it's a protein, and it can replace in a lot of ways what is done with steak. Anyway, fish, another substitute. Anyway, so who are the suppliers, right? Who are the partners? Who are the people that you sell to, right? But really starting internally.
Yeah.
What is it we're doing inside here that really works and really doesn't? And asking those questions in an intentional way, telling folks that you're asking these questions to get a better understanding of the culture, and then moving the needle, right? Sharing the data in its aggregate to say, hey, this is what we're hearing, this is what we reported. And these are the items that are actionable, right? We've identified as a leadership team, whatever, that these things are the priorities. They're the most feasible, and they're the highest impact for the level of involvement, right? But to keep that process continual. So as you make those fixes, whether it's installing a ramp for folks who have trouble going upstairs, or making sure that more voices are heard in meetings, right, and that people feel valued. Stepping into motivational interviewing as a fundamental directive in supervisory work, right? As I'm supervising someone, helping them see that I'm invested in them and in their growth as a function in the company, but also as a person, right? When all of those things are present, then we can take a broader look, right? What is it that our customers are saying? What is it that our partners are saying, right? In terms of vendors and suppliers, distributors.
Yeah.
What is it that our stakeholders are saying, right? Our shareholders, our board members, our other people who are invested in the company in any of a number of ways.
Yeah.
And just being very intentional about that listening process, and then from the listening, taking action, right? Reviewing the action, and then listening again. In this iterative process, it becomes then practice to reform what you're doing.
Yeah.
And offer a higher level of care and delivery and responsiveness in your activities, whatever it is as an agency. So I don't know if there are any, right? But if you had a challenge or a paradigm, that'd be easier to speak to, right? Because here I am talking about developing resilience in a really sort of practical but abstract way, right? We're really like 20,000 foot view. This is how it's done. From the surveys, from talking directly to the constituent stakeholder, whoever it is that you're talking to, aggregating that data, and then identifying actions to move forward. It's really critical that that process exists in a space of safety.
Yeah.
Like if I feel like I'm going to offer feedback and I might lose my job, whether it's feedback that says this department I'm in is useless and there's no reason for us to exist, or the way that the supervisor operates is harmful and people don't want to interact with them, right? If I fear that is going to, if either of those is going to make me lose my job, then I'm less likely to say it, right? But if we can establish perhaps anonymity, or perhaps just a paradigm where folks feel like they can say what they need to say in a moment, in a critical moment, and it matters, right? Their word is validated. It doesn't mean that just because I say something that change is going to happen.
Yeah, no.
But that it's going to be that it's going to be factored in.
Yeah, it's going to be heard.
Give me a scenario, for instance, or a question off of this, if you could. Like, where would this fall down in your eyes? Or does it make sense?
Trying to think of a question.
Yeah, I know. I am. I'm putting you on the spot. I appreciate that.
So, like, what kind of question do you want it to be, necessarily?
Okay, well, can you see how this works? Like, functionally, does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I get what you're saying about resilience and listening, and like it starts with listening and like actually like being heard out afterwards, and like kind of rebuilding what not rebuilding, but building up the ability to have conversations with people.
Yeah, I mean, it could be rebuilding, right? Maybe something happened where the trust was eroded, where a confidence was violated, or right. But building, rebuilding, it doesn't matter, right? But that the safety needs to be there, right? We need to step into transparency and trustworthiness, right? That's where they share, hey, this is what we're doing. This is an initiative we're undergoing and becoming a more resilient organization, right? And establishing belonging where we are, so that everyone here feels that at a deep level, you matter as much as the next person. No more, no less, right? But that your existence here is vital, and we want to understand it and improve it. And so comments like, the compensation isn't enough, or like, I know we get PTO, but I always feel like I'm being punished for taking time off, right? Whether it's sick time or vacation, and just looking around, there are plenty of organizations that are doing it right, and I'd like to, I've got some friends working in them, and I'll bring them on to have the conversation. But I think there are too many organizations where folks go to work each day, right? Or they have a Sunday night where they're like, oh, I have to go to work tomorrow. Fuck. And they get the blues, the Sunday blues, where, it's not a place where they feel humanized. It's not a place where they feel recognized and appreciated and validated. We can fix this. I think it is an incredible, I would say, high ROI level of investment. Just lean into your team, listen to them, and then gradually expand that listening to different stakeholder groups and incorporate the feedback that you're given. Yeah. It's work. It's practice. It's time that you might otherwise be doing X and Y and Z. But it's also when we look at the how the people feel, right? So it'll be better retention and better outcomes in your hiring, right? You'll have a better set of questions to ask in your interviews to make sure that the fit is there, because you have a better understanding of who's in your organization already. Yeah. Right? So the people are there. The profitability is going to be there, because when people feel more validated in their work, they feel like their work matters more. They feel like they matter more to the work. They're going to pour into it more, right? And just, in simple ways, not burnout type ways, but just this is what I have to give. I'm not waiting for the next thing, and hoping my LinkedIn profile takes off, right? And that and those Indeed folks get back to me. They recognize that the organization cares about them. So there's already that level of buy-in and care that they want to deliver there. Yeah. Right? And then just planetarily, right? As we expand in this concept of resilience, right? That we're able to lean on each other in more enduring ways and more sustainable ways, that our partners, our clients, our customers, our vendors and distributors know that they're part of our family. Yeah. Part of the effectiveness of our work is informed by how they do their work, and that we want to deepen the partnership. Yeah. Right. Agreed. So we're willing to listen to them. We'll talk more in future episodes about the practical tools, etc.
Well, we do have to wrap up.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I hope you understand.
I do.
There's a light that flashed.
I saw that.
Does that mean someone was calling?
GTFO? Oh, yeah? Yeah. All right. Well, let's do that then. That's the cast.
That's the cast.
Done.
All right.
You going to stage this one?
Yeah. Okay.